Hey there. It's Monday night, and I had my doctor's appointment today, so everybody's wouldn't been waiting to hear about what the plan is. Um, so some good news. Um, I am going back into treatment, but the good news, the growth in my tumors is still very slow. So, what they do when they do my CAT scans is they've picked out a couple of tumors on my liver and a couple of tumors in my lungs that they use as representatives for the cancer in my body. And what they have found is that while the disease is progressing, it's growing very slowly. So I still have lots of options. And I'm not necessarily rushing back into chemo. I can take advantage of something else right now because while we want to start doing something, the urgency isn't there to necessarily go back into the harshest regime. So I'm going to take advantage of a clinical trial. And I'm going to do a drug called Brivinib, sorry. And basically what it does is it starves the tumors of blood. So hopefully it works and it prevents growth. The side effects aren't supposed to be as bad. Some high blood pressure, fatigue, um, some GI issues, but nothing severe. And hopefully it either stabilizes or reduces the amount of disease. So I've got to get some tests done and make sure that everything is okay and that I qualify for the study. And then I'm going to start on a clinical trial and we'll see how that goes. And the hope is to bridge time to get me to a time when I can get something called a PARP inhibitor, which is another drug that I've really been waiting for. So hopefully this can get me there, and if not, I can always do chemo. It's always an option. It's always there. So the plan right now is to do Brivinib, and hopefully it'll work, and it won't be a bridge, and this will be something that works for me. Everybody is individual, and everybody needs a plan tailored to them. So, right now I'm just really grateful for the doctor that I have who's on top of everything and, knows what the options are and presents them in a way that I can understand them, which is so important. The hard part now is deciding what to tell Sydney, my daughter. So I've been honest with her in an age-appropriate manner about cancer and my health and what's going on. And really, she doesn't know life without it. I mean, I was diagnosed, she was 2 years old. So this is what she lives with. She did a timeline for school this week. They're studying family trees and things like that. And her timeline, it was 5 major events. And the first event was my parents got married. And the second event was I was born, but my mummy had cancer, so she can't have any more babies. And the third event was I had a baby naming, and I went to Disney World. And it's just part of her life. It's part of her vernacular. It's what she knows. So, I mean, I don't think that she fully appreciates it. She's only 7 years old. But she understands that if mommy has cancer, that it's a sick and that it's not good news. So I have to think about how to tell her about this latest stage, because beforehand I would say to her I had cancer, chemo is my medicine, and chemo makes me tired. And this medicine isn't quite as overt in the side effects, but when I'm back in treatment, I like her to know, I don't like to be dishonest with her. I don't want to scare her, but she hears me talking. She hears Mark and I discussing things, and it's hard to hide this from her. It's a part of my day-to-day life. I'm going to have to go to the hospital at least once a week on this clinical trial. I'm going to be talking with my doctors and my nurses more. So think I have to tell her, and I don't want to scare her, but it's always a challenge. I mean, she's 7, she understands a little bit more now, but it's always a concern with how you're going to deliver that news. So there is good news in that it's not chemo, and the disease isn't growing out of control, and it's manageable, and my tumors are still what they consider small. They're under 2 centimeters. So that's good. And I can do this clinical trial. I qualify for it. The timing is good, and it's a viable option. Um, and I've just got to fit it into my life, and that includes into Sydney's life. So, good news. The best news that I could have in the circumstances, recognizing that the disease is growing and I'm going back into treatment, but the best news in the circumstances, and now I just got to figure out how to tell her. So that's what I'll be thinking about now, and I'll keep you posted on how things go. Have a great night.